what I'm about to show you is just like a little bit shameful. It's a little bit shameful. Okay, let's start the video. Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Ragan. I make bookish content here on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And today I have another book haul for you. Did I just haul 26 books for you a couple videos ago? Yes. Am I hauling another 21 for you today? Also, yes, I'm sorry to myself for doing this to myself, but I'm also not sorry because I get to share so many amazing books and purchases with you today. However, someone needs to stop me because I had like a little bit of an awakening in last week when I had to bring some of these books home with me. So let's chat. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Let's start with the 6 copies of Crescent City that I have here in my arms. Why do you have 6 copies of Crescent City, House of Sky and Breath, Ragan, you may be asking? Well, I'm asking myself the same question. So let me try to answer it as best as possible. It was a mistake, kind of, partially. I had no self-control, my former self had no self-control over a year ago, and I pre-ordered the shit out of this book. Okay, so let's just backtrack a little bit. So I pre-order books that I love, and I pre-order special editions when I can, especially Sarah J Maas. I've never been able to pre-order an exclusive edition like the tour editions. I've never been able to pre-order the signed exclusive editions from any of the major bookstores. They always sell out before the author or before the publishing house or before the before the company selling the books even announces that they're there. There are like Sarah J Maas fans that are like, they are on it every single day looking for that book, and I've never been one of those lucky people to snag it in time. So I have pre-ordered the exclusive edition from multiple different retailers, and those retailers were in America. And when I went to Disney World, my mom and dad brought my books from Illinois to Florida for me so that I could fly them on an airplane back to London, and now here they are in my house. So let's chat a little bit about them. Okay, so I own the UK Waterstones exclusive of House of Sky and Breath. Hey, it's Editing Ragan here. To correct myself, I was deleting a bunch of files off my computer today and came across this photo. I own 2 copies of this book. I have not read this. I've been saving this for when my heart is like, for when my heart needs it, and I think that's going to be September. I think I'm going to read it the week of my birthday because I will be turning 27 in September of this year. And this bonus chapter has Bryce's perspective. Now, Bryce is our main female protagonist and heroine of our story, and I am really looking forward to reading this book. Now, if you are unaware, Sarah J Maas and Bloomsbury have done this awful thing where they put exclusive chapters in different retailers' copies of the books. So if you want to read the exclusive content, if you want to own the exclusive content, if you want to have an inside scoop and more details about the story and about the plot and what's to come in future books, you need to have editions of every copy from each retailer. So I did a thing where I pre-ordered all of those. Now, I also forgot that I had done this, so I ended up with a Books A Million exclusive edition, and this has the bonus chapter from Rune's perspective, and this is confusing to me because I was expecting Books A Million to have Hunt's perspective because Hunt is our love interest and main like male character that we're following in book 1 of Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. But he wasn't in here, so I was like, okay, so we'll just look for him in another book. Also, this book came with an exclusive Books A Million like magazine with the book on the cover from February 2022. It's like a little collectible for us Sarah J Maas fans, so I'm really happy to have this. So I have 1 copy of Books A Million plus the magazine. Okay, cool. Then I have 2 copies of the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. Mind you, let me just show you the spine differences between the US and the UK versions. So UK, US. I like both, but I think I prefer the UK because it's a little bit more bold. So the exclusive bonus chapter from Barnes & Noble is also Bryce, and I believe it's the same chapter. So not super happy about that. Also was looking for Hunt, and since I have 2 copies of this book, I think I will do a giveaway if I don't sell it. If you're interested in a giveaway, maybe I'll do a giveaway of this book when I hit 1,000 subscribers, so let me know down below. If not, I'll try to sell a copy. I'm definitely keeping a copy for myself, and I hope to eventually acquire some exclusive dust jackets for Sarah J Maas's books, especially the series, because I really enjoy it, and I don't have any for her ACOTAR series or for Throne of Glass, so that's something that I want to get on. By the way, did you see that Throne of Glass is getting a new cover rebrand? It comes out on Valentine's Day of 2023. Here's what the UK and US hard copies and paperbacks look like. I definitely will be picking up the UK hardbacks. I don't own hardbacks of the Throne of Glass series, and as you know, it is, or if you don't know, I'm telling you now, finishing the Throne of Glass series is a goal of mine to finish by the end of 2022 this year, so I really need to jump on that. Anyway, okay, so those are 3 copies. Now, this is where we can have a little bit of an issue because I don't know how I ended up with 3 Target exclusives. I think I pre-ordered one myself, and then I believe my aunt bought me one because she saw it at Target, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, pick it up because I can like do something with it, or I can just have an extra copy, I don't know. And I think my mom bought me one as well, or maybe I pre-ordered 2, I don't know, but I have 3 now, so this one definitely will be going towards a giveaway. So again, let me know if you're interested, and I will definitely include it at some point in the near future, or when I hit a milestone here on YouTube, I will give a copy of my Target exclusive edition, especially if you don't live in the US. This is a copy that maybe you would love to have if you're a fan of the book, so I will definitely do that. Now, the bonus chapter here is Therian, and also confused because it wasn't Hunt. So Hunt is not a bonus chapter in any of the books that I have. I don't know if I'm missing something, or if he if his character just kind of like goes away in book 2, or if Sarah J Maas pulls that thing where like we no longer are supposed to love the love interest, because she's done that in both of her series before. So I'm a little bit scared and a little bit shaking having this information that the bonus chapters do not have Hunt in it. We shall see. We shall see. So anyway, that's how I have 6 copies of House of Sky and Breath, which is crazy. By the way, let's welcome my brand new Magic Kingdom exclusive Starbucks cup to the Starbucks collection here in my house. I love her. She's so pretty. She's pink and yellow, and she keeps my drinks cold. Anyway, the next book I'm going to haul for you today is one that I picked up while I was at Universal Studios Orlando. It was so hot there. It was so hot. It was 108 degrees, and it became too much around like 4 o'clock. I just could not stay until the park closed, so I decided to catch an Uber and go to Barnes & Noble, which was like 10 minutes away. I had to go to Barnes & Noble while I was in America, and my husband was a little bit nervous about me going. He was like, you cannot drop $200 right now, and I was like, I know, and I was really good. I only bought 1 book, which is crazy considering like, you know, this. I only bought 1 book, and it's a book that I needed to complete my American paperback trilogy, and that would be The Bear and the Nightingale, and this is by Catherine Arden. This is something that I have seen around for several years since it came out. This book came out in 2017, so only 5 years ago actually, but since then it has become a trilogy, book 2 being The Girl in the Tower and book 3 being The Winter of the Witch, and I bought these 2 last Christmas when I was at Barnes & Noble, but they didn't have book 1. I knew that this was a series that I wanted to really read, and so I finally grabbed book 1, and I will be picking it up this fall/winter, and it has a Cinderella retelling element to it. Lots of Russian folklore set in the deep winter setting, and it just sounds very cozy and also mysterious and maybe a little bit romantic. It's an adult fantasy trilogy, so let me be very clear about that. I don't know what makes it adult, and this follows Vasa, who lives at the edge of the Russian wilderness with her father and her evil stepmother. Her stepmother is trying to prepare her for either the convent or for marriage, and Vasa wants neither. Her stepmother also forbids her family from honoring the household spirits, and Vasa is very concerned about this because if you don't honor these spirits and this religion, then some evil demons could come into play. And one of those evil demons is Frost, and Frost is a mythological being from the folklore that Vasa grew up with. He is a blue-eyed winter demon that the Russians fear. Something happens, I'm not sure what, but I believe Vasa is going to go on an adventure and that Frost will end up being a real person, a real man, a real character, a real demon, and then we get 3 books. Vasa has some concealed powers. I don't know what they are. They don't say on the back of the book, so I'm excited to find out what, and I'm excited to find out why people love this series so much. It just seemed like the perfect reading experience for the winter time, and I particularly wanted these American copies because I think they're beautiful, and they're also floppy paperbacks, which is just the best to read, and I just really prefer these over the UK covers, which I'll pop up here. Anyway, if you want to check out any of these books, they are linked down below in the description bar, along with every other book I chat about in today's video. So if you want to add them to your TBR or pick them up to read yourself, then you can do so down below. Yes, so we have Bear and the Nightingale. The next book that we're going to chat about is one that I actually just hauled. It's my most recent book to come to my collection, and that would be The Darkening by Soooo Mara. Look how pretty she is. Look at the sprayed edges. This came in my Fairy Loot YA book box subscription service for the month of July. Here are the end papers and then the cover. I don't believe there's anything on the back. No, there's not, but there's also this art inside in the back. Super pretty. I saw this book in its regular edition at Waterstones like a week ago before I got on a flight to Orlando. I didn't have time to read what the synopsis was, but I just saw it and I filmed it for myself to remember to check out, and then I happened to get it in the Fairy Loot box. I will put the original cover up above if you want to check it out and get it for yourself, but I love the blue and gold. I do want to read the synopsis for you because it sounds really intriguing, and I think like this does a really good job of describing it. The back says, a fierce revolutionary, a desperate prince, together they will face the storm or be swept away. I love that. Prince Dalka was born for one purpose, to protect his home from the storm, a deadly force that surrounds his city and curses everyone it touches. Vesper Vale is the daughter of failed revolutionaries. Since the queen sentenced her mother to death by the storm, she and her father have been on the run. So when the queen's soldiers, led by Prince Dalka, catch up to Vesper's father, she will do whatever it takes to save him from sharing her mother's cruel fate. Even arm herself with her father's book of dangerous experimental magic. Even infiltrate the prince's elite squad of soldier sorcerers. Even cheat her way into his cold heart. You know I love an enemies to lovers romance. But then when Vesper learns that there's more to the story of her mother's death and that her home is in dire peril, she has little choice. Trust the devious prince with her family's secret or follow her mother's footsteps into the storm. I did look this book up, and I believe it is book 1 of a duology, book 2 coming out in 2023, but I do want to read this soon, so I'm putting it on my August TBR because I want to read some new releases for you and review them. So if you want to spend your hard-earned money on a brand new hardback, then you obviously will know what it's about and whether it's worth your money and your time reading it. So here you go. The next 2 physical books that I have to haul for you today are ones that I am a little bit skeptical about because I don't know if I'm necessarily the target audience for them, but I want to give them a go and I want to be able to review them for you. And if I don't like them, then I will unhaul them or do a giveaway. And these are both from the Fairy Loot Adult Book Box subscription service I've been subscribed to from the beginning, which came out this year. And the first one is one you might have heard of before, and that would be The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. This is the Fairy Loot exclusive edition in pink with some beautiful sprayed edges with little skulls on it, and then super cute inside cover art. It has a contemporary feel to it. This is where I'm a little bit like concerned because I only read fantasy and fantasy romance, and I like the kind of medieval swords and like princess ball gown settings, you know, and this isn't really that. But it says the House in the Cerulean Sea meets You've Got Mail in this quirky, refreshing fantasy with a rom-com worthy twist. And I have not read House of the Cerulean Sea, which feels like a little bit of an embarrassment because everyone loves that book so much. I've also not seen When You've Got Mail, so I don't really have much to compare in terms of that. But if that sounds interesting to you, then maybe this is one to check out. Oh, I need to show you the cover. Very pretty. I love it just for the naked hardback. But this is a enemies to lovers romance. This is about Heart and Mercy, and Heart is someone who does not like Mercy very much at all, and he ends up penning a letter to someone he just addresses to a friend, and he gets an anonymous response back. So unknowingly, the two become pen pals. I think this is a standalone, but I'm unsure. It's one that I plan on giving it a go maybe in October just because of like the skull vibe, but we'll see. And then the second book I plan to pick up sometime around the October time, and then I'm hauling for you today, is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. This is the Fairy Loot exclusive edition. And then this has like, I don't know if it's Latin on it or if it's a made up language, you can tell me. But it's a very pretty cover. It's signed and then bright pink with a goat. So I really don't know what to expect with this book. This is following Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which is an illustrious witching legacy dating back to our founding sister Anne Boleyn. Now I freaking love Anne Boleyn. Like, I've almost bought the bee necklace several times in my life. I'm a part of Anne Boleyn fan groups on Facebook because I'm that nerdy and have no life. So I am excited about this, but I believe it takes place now, and it says Her Majesty's Royal Coven is a place for women and girls to reach their full potential, develop their gifts, and enjoy the protection and sisterhood that only an official coven can provide. And this is confidential. So basically they are a team working with the UK government, like think MI6 James Bond, and they handle the supernormal events and uphold the traditional witch legacies within the United Kingdom. So I'm not quite sure what to expect other than like witchy sisterhood good times, possibly. So anyway, there is that. Very quickly, I want to just briefly touch on a book that my mom so graciously gifted me, and that is Bridget Kemmer's Forging Silver into Stars. I am very excited to read this book. She is the author of the Curse So Dark and Lonely trilogy, or A Curse So Dark and Lonely trilogy, that's the actual title. And A Curse So Dark and Lonely is a Beauty and the Beast fae retelling from my understanding. I believe this book takes place in the same world, so I really don't want to read the synopsis too much. I believe there is some LGBTQ plus representation in this. It deals with magic, and that's basically all I know. I don't want to spoil anything for myself. I want to read A Curse So Dark and Lonely first. That's been on my TBR for probably 3 years now, so I do need to get to it. But if you are unaware and you've read that series, this book is now out. Okay, the second half of this video is dedicated to the ebooks that I have purchased, and this is the part of the video that I'm most excited about because I feel like the books on this list just kind of define who I am as a reader in this moment in my life. I am a fantasy romance lover. I am just like absolutely all the time wanting to read these kinds of books. I'm constantly searching for new titles to pick up, and having the Kindle app, not the actual physical Kindle because I don't own that yet, but having the Kindle app is just like such a blessing because I'm able to find so many amazing fantasy romance authors out there, indie authors, new books to try, and all the fae, all the enemies to lovers, all the smutty romance, all the one bed tropes, all the bodyguard tropes, like all of it. Marriage of convenience, fated mates, like those are the things I love. So if you love those things, then you are probably going to find something on this list. At least I hope you do. So all of these are books that I have purchased with my own money. I didn't spend any more than $7 on these books. The most expensive one I bought was $7, and that was Once Upon a Dream by Liz Braswell. I wanted to pick this one up for a Disney preparation reading vlog. I've done a review of this book in my July reading wrap-up. If you want to check that out, it's linked up above and down below for you to enjoy. I spent more money on it than I ideally wanted to, but I really did want to read it, and I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed it. It was a Sleeping Beauty retelling, and it was really well done, very fairy tale-esque, very whimsical, very true to the story, but had a really great twist on it. You're following Princess Aurora, who's trying to escape the dream she's having while she's sleeping under the curse. So very cool. I really enjoyed it. The cheapest book that I got, I think I got a couple of these for $0. Like, they were free to purchase as part of promotions, or I don't know, but I snagged them for $0. But generally I paid like 99 cents to $3.99 for some of these books. That's like the average, somewhere around there. The first set of books I want to talk about are 4, and they're all part of the same series by Laura Thalassa, and that would be the Bargainer series. This is a new adult, maybe adult, fantasy dark romance, and it is so good. I found an absolute favorite in the first book, Rhapsodic. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Rhapsodic, unsure, but oh my god, the Bargainer, he is goals. He is dark, morally gray, sexy, fae goals. So we are following Callie, who is a siren in this book. She has an entire arm filled with one bracelet, and it's full of beads, and each bead represents a debt that she owes to the bargainer. And when you make a bet with the bargainer, when you make a deal with the bargainer, he will give you what you want and what you ask for, but he will come and collect payments in any form he sees fit. So that could mean doing anything for him. So she has an entire arm filled with them because she is infatuated with the bargainer and she's a lonely young girl. If you like any of the tropes that I was talking about earlier, you might find a couple of those in this series, especially in book 1. It's so good. I don't want to talk too much more about it because I'm going to do a dedicated video on this series when I finish it. I'm currently on the novella, which is The Emperor of Evening Stars, and that's between books 2 and 3, book 2 being A Strange Hymn and book 3 being Dark Harmony. I also bought On These Black Sands by Vanessa Rasanen. I talked about that in my July rating wrap up as well. 5 stars, fantastic. It's a slow burn new adult pirates enemies to lovers romance. It's very slow burn because we need to get book 2. I need to know what's going on with the romance, and this follows a young woman who is 20 years old and she's about to inherit the kingdom, and she discovers something that's going on and she doesn't want to be associated and be an instigator of this kind of violence within her kingdom. So she decides to run away and she enlists the help of a pirate named Declan, and they go on search of a magical object that can either destroy them or save them all. It has sirens coming up in book 2. It has very nautical Pirates of the Caribbean kind of vibes. I really enjoyed this. And then the author actually recommended the next book I purchased. She said that if I liked her writing style, then another author to check out would be Jenny Hickman. So I purchased her book, which is A Cursed Kiss, and this is a fantasy romance standalone. However, the books coming out in the series take place in the same world and you need to read this book first. A Cursed Kiss takes place on a mythological island called Erin, and it's a fantasy setting I'm very excited to read and dive into. This book follows Keelan, who witnesses the murder of her sister. Her sister was murdered by an immortal demon who kills women with a kiss. So she decides that she wants to avenge her sister and kill this creature, but she needs help. So she enlists a devilishly handsome half-fae man who wants nothing to do with her and doesn't want to help her. He's more interested in drinking and hooking up with loose women than helping a human, but she makes him a deal he can't refuse, and the two of them set out on an adventure, and they're trying to kill this creature, break this kind of curse, and maybe fall in love in the process. So I'm excited to read this one. Now, you know I love a good princess book. It's like my bread and butter. I will read them any day, ever since I was a little girl. And so the next book I picked up on Kindle is Disenchanted by Brianna Sugalski. I hope I said that correctly. But this follows Lilac, and I believe that Lilac is a girl set in a historical fantasy setting. She's Breton, which I believe is Old British. They're at the peak of the French Resistance, and Lilac is a princess who is a prisoner in her parents' castle because on the eve of her 10th birthday soiree, something was revealed about her, but several years later she receives a mysterious letter from a witch who says that she could possibly help her. So Lilac sets out on an adventure through the forest, and she meets a bad boy bodyguard, a centuries-old vampire. There's some romance that happens along the way as they try to break her curse / the darkness. I'm not quite sure what it is that makes her so evil or terrible or whatever it is, but I'm excited to give this one a go. I think I got this one for free. This is one that I definitely want to read in September, October, November time. I really crave princess fairy tale books and swashbuckling stories around the fall. That's kind of my mood read. I know a lot of people tend to gravitate towards spooky books or Halloween horror thrillers, but that's not me. I always gravitate toward books that have kind of a cold, dark, atmospheric, magical fantasy setting. So I think Disenchanted will be a perfect one to pick up this fall. This next book I'm really excited to talk about, and that would be The Girl Who Belonged to the Sea by Catherine Quinn. On the back of the book it says it's the first in a fantasy, steamy, swashbuckling adventure romance, perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Daniel L. Jensen, and those are two of my favorite authors of all time. So it's a really big thing to put on the back of the book, but I have high hopes. This follows a girl who is chosen by the gods, a king who will do anything to save his kingdom, and a forbidden romance that can destroy them all. I really don't want to read any more into the synopsis. I did go through it briefly, but like it just felt like it was giving away a little bit too much information. So what I just told you, I feel like is what I want to remember myself going into the book. If you like sea fantasy settings, I think this is the one to pick up. It sounds like it has maybe an enemies to lovers trope and possibly the chosen one trope in it as well. Just like the brief description I just gave makes me so excited to read this book. So I hopefully will be picking it up this fall. Okay, there's one more book to haul for you today, and that would be Aisling, A Breath of the New Creature by A.E. Jurgens. This seems like a very heavy political fantasy. I'm very curious because the title is a bit strange and the cover has like a wolf coming down and it kind of looks like a bleeding heart to me, like the image on the cover. So I'm curious about this one. Okay, so this story follows Aisling. It's set in a fae world, and Aisling is a symbol of peace between the mortals and the fair folk, and she's betrothed to one of the 12 fae rulers. And when she's betrothed to this king, she's thrown into a world of savage beasts, centuries old racial prejudices, and suddenly she finds herself in this politically dense situation. Wicked philosophies suddenly wake up this dark, evil creature, and Aisling realizes that this creature is not so different from the king that she herself is betrothed to. So she finds herself going on a quest, and along the way finds some self-discovery, and she's propelled into this whimsical, dark fae world. I think that sounds very lush. It sounds very intriguing to me. I definitely want to pick this one up sometime in the fall. Again, these are the kind of books that I'm gravitating towards now, and I hope that there's some good romance in it. The synopsis doesn't really show so much romance, but that's okay. If there's a lot of like good character development and a really fascinating fae world, like I'm here, I'm good to go. Sometimes I feel like I'm rambling a little bit about these books, so please let me know down below if I'm doing a good job of describing my thoughts and feelings for you, because sometimes like I have so many thoughts and feelings running through my heart and in my brain and in my notebook that I like feel like I'm trying to piece so much together. But if you are getting anything out of these videos, I would love to know. And let me know what else you want to see from me. If you want to see some different content, I have some vlogs coming out. I have a Disney travel vlog coming out. I have more book hauls and TBRs and recommendation videos, and I would love to chat all things books and fantasy with you, especially. Thank you so much for watching today's video, you guys. If you're one of my bookish besties, you are a queen. You made it to the end of this video. Thank you very much. As always, I so appreciate it. I absolutely love doing this for you. Drop a comment down below if you made it to the end of this video. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye.